In an extraordinary turn of events for America's energy landscape, an old friend is making a comeback. The Palisades nuclear power plant, located in Covert Township, Michigan, is set to reopen its doors, marking a historic first for the United States. This facility, which faithfully generated electricity for nearly 5 decades, was shut down in May 2022. Many believed its story had ended as its new owner, Holtec International, began the long process of decommissioning. The closure seemed to follow a familiar pattern of nuclear plants aging out and being replaced by other energy sources. It was a sign of the times, or so we thought. But the world's energy needs are changing fast, and with them, our ideas about the best way to power our future. Then, something remarkable happened. The conversation shifted. Instead of dismantling the plant, discussions began about bringing it back to life. By the fall of 2023, the plan had officially changed from tearing it down to turning it back on. The final decision to restart the plant was made in September 2024, representing a complete reversal of its fate. This isn't just about one power plant, it's a signal that America is taking a serious new look at nuclear energy. The Palisades plant is now on a path to become the first ever decommissioned nuclear facility in the country to be successfully brought back online, a true pioneer in a new chapter of energy production. The journey from shutdown to restart required more than just a change of heart. It needed significant support. The U.S. government, recognizing the unique potential of this project, stepped in with a major financial commitment. The Department of Energy approved a massive $1.52 billion conditional loan guarantee to Holtec. This funding is absolutely essential to cover the enormous costs of inspecting, upgrading, and relicensing a plant that was preparing for permanent retirement. The loan is a powerful vote of confidence from the highest levels of government, showing that the nation is willing to invest heavily in preserving its existing carbon-free energy infrastructure. This support is the backbone of the entire endeavor. This comeback story is scheduled to reach its climax soon. With the federal loan secured and state funding also in place, Holtec is now working diligently to meet all the stringent requirements set by federal regulators. The goal is to have the plant fully operational and sending power to the grid by late 2025 or early 2026. If successful, Palisades will once again be a powerful source of clean energy for Michigan and neighboring states. Its 800-megawatt capacity will provide a steady, reliable flow of electricity around the clock, without producing the greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to climate change. The revival of Palisades is a bold experiment and a testament to modern engineering and shifting priorities. The decision to pour billions of dollars into restarting the Palisades plant is driven by a clear and urgent national goal tackling climate change. The U.S. government, under the Biden administration, has set an ambitious target to triple the country's nuclear energy capacity by the year 2050. This is a key part of a larger strategy to move away from fossil fuels like coal and natural gas, which release harmful carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Nuclear power plants, in contrast, generate immense amounts of electricity without any carbon emissions. They provide what is known as baseload power, meaning they run constantly, 24/7, providing a reliable foundation for the electric grid that intermittent sources like solar and wind cannot always guarantee. This renewed focus on nuclear energy is also about creating a more stable and resilient energy system. Global events can cause the prices of oil and gas to swing wildly, affecting everything from home heating bills to the cost of gasoline. By increasing our reliance on domestically produced nuclear power, the U.S. can reduce its dependence on these volatile international markets. Furthermore, Michigan itself has its own powerful climate goals. The state passed a law aiming for 100% carbon-neutral energy by 2040. To meet such a bold target, leaders realized they needed every clean energy tool available, and restarting a massive, already built nuclear plant was an opportunity too good to pass up. Beyond the environmental benefits, the reopening of Palisades is a major win for the local economy. The project is expected to save or create around 600 high-paying, permanent jobs, with many of those positions filled by skilled union workers. These are the kinds of stable careers that can support families and entire communities. During the plant's regular refueling and maintenance periods, which happen about every 18 months, that number will swell to over 1,000 jobs, providing a significant economic boost to the region. The White House has called the project a climate comeback story, highlighting its dual role in fighting climate change and supporting American workers. This investment is not just about one plant, it's about securing our energy future. Two electric cooperatives, Wolverine Power Cooperative in Michigan and Hoosier Energy in Indiana, have already signed agreements to buy all the electricity that Palisades will produce. This ensures that the plant has a stable market for its power for years to come. This kind of long-term planning is critical as our society's demand for electricity continues to grow, especially with the rise of electric vehicles and power-hungry data centers for things like artificial intelligence. Nuclear energy is seen as a vital component to meet this rising demand reliably and cleanly. Of course, not everyone is celebrating the return of Palisades. The decision to restart an aging nuclear plant has raised serious concerns among some environmental groups and local residents. Organizations like Beyond Nuclear have been vocal in their opposition, pointing to the potential safety risks associated with operating a facility that is over 50 years old. They argue that components could be brittle or degraded after so many years of operation and a period of shutdown. The plant's location on the shores of Lake Michigan, a source of drinking water for millions, adds another layer of concern. Opponents worry about the possibility of an accident that could have devastating consequences for the entire Great Lakes region. Another major point of contention is the issue of nuclear waste. Like all nuclear power plants, Palisades produces spent nuclear fuel, which is highly radioactive and remains dangerous for thousands of years. Currently, there is no permanent long-term disposal site for this waste in the United States. It is stored on-site in large concrete and steel casks. Critics of the restart argue that bringing the plant back online will only add to this growing stockpile of hazardous material, leaving a toxic legacy for future generations to manage without a clear solution in sight. They believe the money being spent on Palisades would be better invested in expanding renewable energy sources like solar and wind, which do not produce long-lived waste. On the other side of the debate, supporters argue that modern safety standards and regulatory oversight are more than capable of ensuring the plant operates safely. Holtec must receive a new operating license from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, an independent federal agency responsible for nuclear safety. This process involves media group, nuclear plant inspectors examining facility, team conducting detailed safety inspection at its stock, @distribute_equally, exhaustive inspections, rigorous testing of all critical systems, and detailed reviews of the plant's updated safety protocols. Supporters emphasize that the NRC is one of the most stringent regulatory bodies in the world. They are confident that any potential issues, such as those identified with the plant's steam generator tubes, will be thoroughly addressed before the plant is allowed to restart. Proponents also frame nuclear energy as a necessary tool for ensuring a just transition to a clean energy economy. They contend that while solar and wind are fantastic, they are not a complete solution on their own because they are weather dependent. Nuclear power provides the kind of firm, reliable, 24/7 clean energy needed to keep the lights on and factories running, ensuring grid stability as we retire fossil fuel plants. The jobs created by the plant are also a key part of this argument. For supporters, the benefits of reliable, carbon-free power and economic opportunity outweigh the managed risks, which they believe are minimized by strict federal oversight and modern engineering practices. The reopening of the Palisades plant is sending powerful ripples across the entire U.S. energy industry. This single event is being watched closely by investors, utility companies, and policymakers nationwide. It serves as the first major consequence of a renewed political will to embrace nuclear power. For years, the trend was to shut down nuclear plants, not to revive them. By successfully bringing a decommissioned plant back online, Palisades is creating a new playbook. It tells the world that America is serious about its nuclear fleet and is willing to make significant investments to maintain it as a cornerstone of its clean energy strategy. This is a powerful signal to the market. This bold move could very well start a trend, setting a precedent for other retired or retiring nuclear plants across the country. Discussions are already happening about potentially reviving another famous facility, the 3 Mile Island plant in Pennsylvania, which famously had a partial meltdown in 1979, but has another undamaged reactor on site. Tech giants like Microsoft, which need massive amounts of clean, reliable power for their data centers, are also showing increased interest in nuclear energy. A successful restart at Palisades would demonstrate that it is technically and financially feasible to give these valuable assets a second life, potentially unlocking billions of dollars in existing carbon-free infrastructure. However, the path forward is not without its challenges. Before Palisades can generate a single watt of electricity, Holtec must navigate a complex web of regulatory hurdles. The company must prove to the NRC that the plant is safe to operate after being dormant. This will involve extensive safety inspections, equipment upgrades, and a lengthy public review process. Every system, from the reactor core to the emergency cooling pumps, will be scrutinized to ensure it meets today's exacting standards. Overcoming these technical and regulatory challenges will be the final test of whether this historic comeback can truly succeed. Ultimately, the story of Palisades marks a pivotal moment in America's ongoing energy transition. It represents a pragmatic shift, acknowledging that in the urgent race against climate change, we may need to reconsider all our options. The project combines the preservation of a powerful clean energy source with the promise of economic stability and American jobs. If Palisades powers up successfully, it will not just be a victory for Michigan. It will rewrite the narrative for nuclear energy in the 21st century. It shows a future where old and new technologies work together to build a cleaner, more secure, and more prosperous energy system for all Americans.